Hi, Kathy Nelson here, founder of ConnectWorks, author, speaker, and executive coach, and creator of the popular Busy People series. Thanks for joining us in the third of the Practical Wisdom series, How to Uplevel Your Attraction Factor, Turn on the Hot Buttered Popcorn Effect. If you've not watched the first two in the series, I'd encourage you to go back and do that right now. You'll be glad you did. For those of you that have already invested the time in segments 1 and 2, welcome back. We're going to have some fun in this wrap-up session. Because remember in our first segment, we talked about the hot buttered popcorn effect and what it was, that idea of the aroma effect that hot buttered popcorn has on us, that we can actually have that same effect on others. And we know people who have that. And in the past, we may have considered them just lucky, or born in special circumstances or in the right crowds. But we broke those three myths that others seem to espouse about attraction, and now you know the truth. Not only can you have what you think about when it's aligned with your values, your beliefs, and your actions, and I'm talking about the myth that says that if you think about anything consistently, you can have it or bring it into your life. That's a myth. We broke it. You can have anything that you think about consistently that is in alignment with your values and congruent with your beliefs, and that you take action toward. That's the truth of that myth. The myth number 2 that we busted had to do with doing what you love and the money will follow. I can't believe every day, every time I mention that, and people say, oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But you know what, I'm just waiting for the money. Well, the myth about that is you can't just do what you love and the money will follow. It's like hanging up your store sign and expecting people to come in your front door. The truth of that myth is do what you love in the service of others who love what you do, which is a quote from Steve Farber, by the way, from Radical Leap. That ties that myth into the truth. Do what you love in the service of others who love what you do and are willing to exchange a value for it. That's the missing piece. So that myth was busted, and we redefined it as truth. So the third myth had to do with some people having the lucky factor. They were just born lucky, born in the right family, in the right genes, in the right economics environment, in the right neighborhood. But we busted that myth because I reminded you of the stories of those who've overcome coming from poverty, extreme hardship in life, to overcome, to let that internal brilliance actually come out. The way that they're wired was irrepressible and irresistible, just like that dream that's inside of you trying to get out. So we went on after we busted the myths to talk about what attractive leaders do that others don't. Practices that they have that regularly let them be attractive, be moving to a being place rather than doing attraction, or being tactical about attraction. They are attractive. And those three practices had to do with one, being present. They understand their wiring, they understand their own needs, they understand who they are and where they're going, so they could show up and be present, whether they were speaking from the stage or whether they were speaking one-on-one. But they practice being present. Number 2, they're prepared. So they have a practice of preparation. They understand what they want, they understand what they're going for, they understand who they serve, they understand the values they bring to the table, they understand the greater impact on the world. So what happens when preparation meets opportunity? Things happen. So attractive leaders have a practice of being prepared. The third practice that they have is being resourceful. They've tapped that inner creativity that we all have, I guarantee it, of being resourceful, of solving problems that are bigger than themselves, whether they're in a group, whether they're one-on-one, whether they're even trying to solve their own problems. They are resourceful. They go within so that they can see the things that they need to do or want to do or the connections they need to make. They're resourceful. I know you can incorporate these 3 practices into your way of life as well. So the last segment of this training has to do with what are your 3 essential elements to determine your own secret sauce? Because everyone has it. I know you do. I want to talk to you for just a few moments about what those 3 elements are and how you can discover them. The first element in your secret sauce is you've got to become intimately acquainted with what's true about you, how you're wired, how your past experiences impact your view of the world, and the added value that that brings. Because I guarantee that every one of you has a personal story that you've had some pain, heartache, or even some amazing things happen that can actually be expressed or channeled into the value that you're delivering for your clients, your employer, your community, your family. To find your own secret sauce, you've got to get to know yourself. You've got to understand those things and how they impact your way of being in the world, and how to articulate what that is for you so you can create your own blend. It's like taking your strengths, taking your experiences, taking your personality profile, taking your environment, taking your any learning that you've done in your life, and blending that together to create this special recipe that you're pouring on your own popcorn, so you create your own hot buttered popcorn effect. So number 1 is to become intimately acquainted with yourself. Personal development. If you're not addicted to personal growth, I'd encourage you to find ways, or talk to someone. Maybe you may even need to take some time to talk to a counselor or a peer or a coach to kind of work through maybe some of the reasons you've resisted this area of personal growth. Because I guarantee this is the number 1 element that will create your secret sauce, is to understand yourself, what you're going for in your drivers, and all of the things that make up you. Number 2 element to get to your secret sauce has to do with your self-acceptance. So number 1 was to get acquainted with yourself, but number 2 has to do with being your own best friend. You know, I one of my mentors throws out this exercise in the workshops that I've been sitting in the last year or so, and he asks us to write on our paper the top 4 of our best friends, just to put our best friends on our notebook. Who are the first 4 people that come to mind that are our best friends, people we love, people we love to be around? And you know what? 100% of the time, unless you've already been through the exercise, nobody puts themselves. But when you think about it, um, one of the things that gets in our way is our own confidence, is our own self-confidence. We don't do the things that we aspire to do or long to do because we have a crisis of belief. We're not sure that we're in the right place. We're not sure the right person. Um, what about if I screw up? What if I did all these, what if they don't like me? Well, if your best friend was with you, what would they say if they heard you talking that way? They would encourage you. They would love on you. They would remind you what's true about you. So step number 2 to get to your own secret sauce is to be your own best friend. Notice what's true about you. When that internal dialogue starts going, that causes your confidence to go and creates that crisis or that inability to move, become your own cheerleader. Be your own best friend. And if you can't seem to break through and love yourself and appreciate those things about you, again, this might be an area where you want some outside help. You want to talk to someone who understands how to help people break through some of these personal issues. And it might be bigger than a coach. It might be a counselor. It might be a pastor. It might be somebody in your sphere that has a professional certification in that area, so they can really help you in the ways that will best serve you to grow into that. When you're on that personal growth journey, I guarantee that you're going to be coming up against those things. 1, that you don't like about yourself, and 2, that you don't think are good about yourself, and the story that you've been telling yourself all these years. So it's time to reprogram that and reframe that in ways that serves you. Now, number 3 step to find your essential element is to deliver value, to find the things that you do that deliver value to others. Um, when we think about those people that we want to be with or that we're attracted to, um, we want to sign up for their mailing list. We want to attend their events. We want to know the people that they know. We want to be known by them. We want them to know us by name. What what is that core element that is the part of that creates that experience for us? It is the delivering of value. So for yourself, now that you know that you want to get intimately acquainted with your wiring, with your gift mix, with your personal story and its impact on the world, and how that brings value to people. Um, Number 2, that you're going to be your own best friend so you can be your cheerleader. You can be your own cheerleader, say, go, go, go. Um, don't slow down, don't fall back, keep your eye on the goal. That then you can begin to say, look outward and say, how can I be of value to the people around me? How can I be of value to the community? How can I be of value to my customers, my team members, my employer if I work for someone else, for my community, for my children, for my spouse, for my family, for my siblings? How can I be of value? And you might surprise yourself in the secret sauce that comes out in a value exchange. Um, it can become unspoken because once you've determined that, your way of being in the world just exudes or it just leaks value. Just breathe that in. If you could just be you and do the things you long to do in the world, that we're not self-serving, but we're serving the bigger picture so that in turn you were served as well. Um, how would that feel? What would that look like? You would attract others to you. People that are in motion doing things they love to do attract others that are in motion that want to do things that you're doing or want to have the experience with you. So turn on your hot buttered popcorn effect. Bust the myths that you continue to run in your head. 2, develop practices that attractive leaders do that others don't. And 3, do the work to develop and finesse your own secret sauce because it's in there. It's coming out already. You know it or you wouldn't be on this call. But let the gift that is you out. It's there. Infuse that into your products or your service or your marketing or your sales or even your leadership in terms of your company. And I guarantee that you will attract people that you would never even imagine and opportunities that you'd never imagine into your life, into your business, into your world. Because that's just the way it works. Just like hot buttered popcorn. We step into the theater and almost unconsciously we're headed to the counter or we're headed to the seat, talking ourselves out of why we're buying it. Your prospects, those who could help you influence your community, will be doing the same for you. In closing, I want to just challenge you to think about the one thing that you could take away, that you could implement. It might be that you're going to go out and take a strengths finder. Maybe you've already taken your strengths finder and you're going to go back through it with a highlighter and remind yourself of those things that are true about you. Maybe it is to start journaling those things that you know are true about you so that when you begin to feel discouraged or frustrated, that you can then remind yourself. You can be your own best friend and say, remember when? Yes, you did. Remember those people said that about you? You are able to do the work. So find ways. That may be the thing that you want to do, is to find those ways to remind yourself that it's cool to be you. Because I know that it's cool to be you every day. So I'm going to wrap up this 3rd video. I'm going to do a couple minutes in a closing video, and I invite you to join us on number 4, which will be the wrap up in this series. Thanks for joining us. for the Practical Wisdom series. We're not quite done yet, so join us on the